video stream up and running on YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook. No more figurines for a while until we're out of studio.
A while is next week.
We are in Vegas. I guess that's true. Next Thursday, Friday, the figurines.
You guys are going to be living it up.
Are you going to attempt the super glue by then? On the head that is falling off?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, I will try it. If you want to bring some in, Cody, I will. But that's the thing, though, is that
now has to be. Maybe we should just leave it. I don't know.
Is the end of it small enough where it's gonna? It's not gonna bleed over. Like I'm not gonna have super glue falling into the figurine because
probably will, but that's what makes it funnier. Okay. I guess we'll try to fix it.
As long as it doesn't make it worse, I suppose.
I don't think it can be worse. His entire head's detached.
That's right. That's exactly.
We'll give it a try, but you're right. We will be in Vegas next Thursday and Friday. If you guys are going to be out there, we'll actually start getting there Wednesday. The shows will be Thursday and Friday.
We had somebody text in already yesterday or 2 days ago on the show saying they're going to be in Vegas next weekend already. So they're going to stop.
Contest weekend?
The ballroom is open for all the radios. Anybody can stop in. So if you happen to be in Vegas, like one of our listeners are going to be next week, sign up for Circus Survivor with us over at Circus Sports. But just stop by and say hello. You can actually hang out during our show for the full 4-hour show. We'll be on from 8 a.m. to noon Pacific time next Thursday and
Make
Friday.
us look good. That Wisconsin station who's out there every year, they've always got like a whole crowd.
Yeah, they have
like 25 people watching their show last year.
Yeah, that was crazy. It's not a sports station either. It's just it's a music station in Wisconsin that is on the radio row for Circus Sports like we are. And yeah, they probably had 20, 25 listeners flew in from Wisconsin to just hang out with their station. I was like, wow, good for them. You know what?
If you guys are out in Vegas next week, come by and see us for a little contest weekend.
All right, let's get you caught up on a couple things that have happened at camp, though, today. We will hear some of the comments from Andy, or at least pass along some of the comments from Andy, but we know the Chiefs did sign another offensive tackle today. They need some depth there. One of the two tackles they had in for a tryout on Wednesday. So Kellen Deesh, I don't know if that's how you pronounce his last name.
Guy might get on the field on Saturday for all I know.
They need bodies at the offensive line right now with some of the injuries. We do know that, as expected, Josh Simmons and Trey Smith are not going to play on Saturday. Anybody that's paid attention this week understands why that's the case. Trey Smith continues to deal with the hip injury, and then Josh Simmons hasn't practiced in a couple days due to a back injury, so it makes sense to hold those guys out. But overall, now that camp has wrapped up, what do you think is the number one takeaway, or how about this, the most important thing for the season that happened at camp? Because I think those are two different things, right? There's takeaways, but there's like, what do you actually think will matter the most for the 2026 Kansas City Chiefs?
So I don't feel like I can give the answer Khalil Bitson there because I don't think he's going to start as the week 1 starter. So he might very well just be a break glass in case of emergency answer. And so that just doesn't feel like the answer I'm supposed to give in the meantime. I think it's probably one of two things. One could very easily be Cyrus Allen. If he actually turns into a viable, contributing member of, let's just say a contributing member of the wide receiver staff, a 500-yard guy. Do you know how much better their wide receiver unit looks if all of a sudden the fourth guy's a 500-yard guy, which before the season it was no one? Literally, it was just Tyquan Thornton and then a sharp cliff to nowhere. If you tell me now they have 4 contributing members and Travis Kelce looks good, and the rest of that is in line, then we probably are talking a little bit, and there's probably something to be had there. I think the single biggest development that I'm sure about is Peter Woods. I think in the sense that they found a defensive lineman who can be a day one contributor in the middle of the defense is the thing that will single-handedly make the biggest impact this season that I'm sure about. Because it opens up things for Jones, it opens up things for Karlaftis, it makes life easier for R. Mason and others. If he is a day one guy who matters and gives snaps that matters, I think that that's probably the thing that will see the single biggest impact for the 2026 Chiefs.
So let me just start with the obvious. It's the low-hanging fruit, though. But it's that Patrick Mahomes looks like Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing for the 2026 season. The 3+ weeks or whatever it was that they've been in St. Joe, that we were up there with our shows. He looks like Patrick Mahomes. And I understand there's a difference when he's actually going to be tackled, and we have not seen that. Nobody can get near him at training camp, so there's a different element. But I'm just talking about him under center or in shotgun, rolling out to his right, rolling out to his left, whatever it may be, he looks like Patrick Mahomes, the 2-time MVP. That's the best thing for the Chiefs leaving camp. And the fact that he didn't have any setback. Honestly, that's the number one thing. Now, if we pivot away from that, that's very obvious.
Because Mahomes is always the answer anytime we're like, who's the most important player? Who needs to stay the healthiest?
I am with you a little bit on Peter Woods, just because my biggest concern is the defensive line and how this team is going to get after the quarterback. And so if you tell me that at some point this year, whether it's week 1 or by week 8, that Peter Woods is a difference maker in terms of on third downs, causing the pocket to collapse, which leads to more sacks for Jones or Karlaftis or whoever is going to be on that other side, whether it's sometimes Ogba, R. Mason, Thomas, Gelati, etc. I'm with you. Peter Woods could be a difference maker. He's a guy that could change my view on, do I think this team has a chance to be a 10-win team or up to an 11-plus win team if they can get after the quarterback? So I'm with you there. I still think, though, the biggest development of camp that we didn't already know going in. We already knew Kenneth Walker was going to be a difference maker. Now, seeing it in person, it's great to see that they have a guy that can cut back and has the vision, but we kind of knew what they were getting. So I don't think he's eligible for this answer. I'll go with Cyrus Allen. I mean, it's just the fact that there's a chance, even if I think people need to temper their expectations that he's not going to suddenly become Puka Nacua right away. But the fact that there is a guy that clearly has a different skill set, that clearly is different than some of the other camp darlings we've had, that there is a real chance that he turns into something for this offense this year, and if not, in 2027. That absolutely, for me, was the biggest development, because when we all showed up in St. Joe, maybe you were excited to watch Cyrus Allen. Nobody, I think, felt on day 1 of camp that we would wrap up camp and now be talking about some people thinking that he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver in a year. That's a crazy turnaround, right?
I mean, again, for the long term, he's the answer, no question, I think, in a lot of ways. Because in the long term, if they did find the number 1, you're right. But even in the short term, that could matter.
We do have some breaking news on the negative side, though. Some more reports coming out of St. Joe. We just mentioned the defensive line, my number 1 concern. How do they get after the quarterback? Well, it just got a little tougher, because reports are that Ashton Gelati ruptured his plantar fascia.
Oh, that's why he left with a foot injury?
Yeah. Yikes. Yeah, this is a guy that we were wondering, could he take a step forward in his second year? But it's a, quote, ruptured plantar fascia. It's a tear. Now, we don't know what the exact prognosis is on that. Also, Jeff Caldwell has a hyperextended knee, but who cares? Plantar fascia for
how long does that keep you out?
I mean, I don't.
No clue.
No idea. I mean, if you told me it's the season, I would believe it. If you told me it was 2 months, I'd believe it. I don't know, guys.
I think it's fair to guess or assume 2 months, though. For a tear like that, I would assume it's at least 2 months.
He's a PUP list candidate now, isn't he? Can he still be on the PUP list? Can you still put him on, right? Wouldn't he, to free up a roster spot?
I would think so.
So wouldn't you probably start him on the PUP list, or IR, I guess it would be for, as an IR also a 6-week deal? I have to look up I get confused on the difference.
I mean, even more so now, obviously, that means, I mean, I know you guys are going to talk about it, but R. Mason Thomas, the importance of that, and then, I mean, even FAU and all the other things that could come from that too. Yeah,
that's a huge loss, though. Even if it's a month, certainly if it's the whole, a whole season, this is a guy you were expecting to take a step forward, and it makes the Emmanuel Ogba signing that much more important. Not that I'm expecting Ogba, Cody, to go out there and have 6 sacks, but I think we discussed Ashton Gelati as a rotational piece that showed promise last year that maybe we were hoping could elevate his game to a 5-sack guy this year. Well, now you're needing a ton from R. Mason Thomas immediately. You're going to ask way more from Ogba than you were planning on. And I think it's a fair question. Do they need to go out and
find a defensive lineman?
And find somebody else?
It does seem,
depending on what their timeline is.
So he left practice early yesterday, or 2 days ago, right? When he left with the foot injury. And so maybe they already knew this when the Chiefs' assistant general manager spoke to the media yesterday, and he said, we got ways of freeing up money if we need to. You and I have long said, I don't want them touching Chris Jones' number. But there's an extension for Creed Humphrey. There's extensions for other people. All that other stuff certainly can play a factor, I guess, at least on this end. But when you look at it, it's like they needed time. I think it could be like, it sounds like you'd be lucky to probably get him back halfway through the season, maybe. So like that part could be there based on the quick research. It's funny. I searched plantar fascia rupture NFL, and the two that popped up immediately were Peyton Manning did this once when he was playing quarterback, but it was only a partial tear. And Sean McVay, while coaching, did it once of all things.
And everybody heals differently, but and people are bringing up Kyle Isbell. It's a baseball player versus a defensive lineman. I don't know if we can make the same comp. I mean, at bare minimum, I think we all recognize he's not playing at least until October, and that's being conservative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that is the best case scenario, but this could linger. Now, the reason why I'm confused on the timeline is Andy Reid called all the injuries falling under nicks and bruises. Okay, ruptured plantar fascia is not a nick or a bruise.
Yeah, no chance.
I don't think all the injuries fall under that category. With all due respect, whatsoever. You want to say that Josh Simmons has his back injury is a nick or a bruise? Fine. Rupturing your plantar fascia is not just a no big deal thing.
Funnily enough, Kyle Isbell did it this season for the Royals.
I know that's what the text line was saying.
So,
6 to 8 weeks, but it's a baseball player. It's different.
Yeah.
I'm guessing
running and jumping and those things. He plays center field, so maybe that's a reasonable timeline.
As of right now, my very, very limited knowledge of the situation or anything, I will say I think Halloween would be an accurate earliest time to see Ashton Gelati.
Look, I'll be honest, he was not very high on my list of guys I thought were going to be like the most meaningful guys in the defensive line, but he was definitely in the rotation. You know who this is the most important for? Like the person who has to step up most in this news. Former first-round pick Felix Anudike-Uzama.
That's a hell of an opportunity for him.
That is legitimately the player who should be counted on to do more in this scenario. You're a former first-round pick. You've been in the NFL for years. You're playing for a future contract with some other team in the NFL. You got all the motivation in the world to put 2 good damn months on paper and actually do something with it. And so that part I feel like is of importance. And that's not a Knicks and Brews situation. But unfortunately for Gelati,
hopefully, is there if there is a such thing as a mild again? This is without none of us are medical experts, so
I don't feel like mild and rupture. That's what I'm saying. Oxymoron part of that, but that's fine.
That's what I mean. So if it's the milder end of a ruptured plantar fascia, as weird as that might sound to say, what does that look like? So we'll obviously try to get some more information throughout the show today. We're on till noon, and if not, I'm sure tomorrow we'll have some more information and maybe get one of our medical friends on the show to find out a little bit more about what the timeline realistically is. But if you're just joining us, some breaking news from the final day of Chiefs camp. We know it's been a couple days for Ashton Gelati not practicing, and now Andy Reid saying that it's a ruptured plantar fascia for Ashton Gelati, and that's why we were mentioning some of the names that have to step up, even if it is on the milder end. We're talking about the fact that you brought up Felix. I agree with you that it's an opportunity for him, but I think we have to be the expectation of what you're going to get from him. I'm not expecting anything, but you're right. It's a golden opportunity for him to completely change the narrative on his career. I still think the first guy that is obvious that has to step up here. You're asking now your second round pick and R. Mason Thomas immediately to become a contributor
and to play more snaps than probably you had hoped for in the early.
And my guess is Emmanuel Ogbah is going to play a hell of a lot more than we ever thought.
Oh. That I know,
right?
of.
Unless they pull somebody off the waiver wire, from a team.
Miller.
Well, somebody that gets cut on the final cut on the only cut down day here in a week or two from another team. The Chiefs have a top 10 pick in the waiver order.
Which former Chief is a free agent is really all I should be asking myself. Who's out on the street that used to play here?
Joey Bosa is still a free agent, I think.
He is.
He's not a former Chief, right? Or did he sign somewhere?
Cormer?
I don't think so.
No, he hasn't.
He was on the Bills
he might have
last
to
year,
retire
right?
though. Right?
Current free agent defensive ends are Hassan Reddick. It's a who's who of guys who used to be good. Hassan Reddick, Joey Bosa, Leonard Floyd, Yuter Gross-Matos, Kyle Van Noy. That's kind of the end of the list of people.
I think Bosa's worth a call on. I just think that there was a report, I believe, that he might just be done playing football. That's why nobody signed him yet.
Yeah,
just because of the injury.
Well, these guys
history.
are all out there for a reason, right? There's something.
It's either August 20th.
Yeah, it's either health, age. There's something. There's a reason why you're still unsigned at this point if you're a vet. I think it's very fair to say. So we'll see over the next couple of days how this plays out. But significant news for I think one of the biggest question marks on the team already.
Yeah, it is. And again, defensive line. I'd be more worried if it was one of the guys I was counting on even more. But I don't want to pretend like this is nothing either. He was obviously going to be in the rotation amongst the defensive line. So we'll have to pay attention to it. Speaking of injury, I was thinking more about, I've been watching the Royals last couple of nights. It's just been entertaining. The A's stink, and the full lineup's been back, even though Jack Caglione left with a sore ankle in the game last night. Salvador Perez's elbow clearly isn't right. Is that permanent? What is their plan next season for him? Is he catching 50 games and DHing the rest? Is he still catching 80 games? Genuinely, I would love to know what their plan for Salvador Perez is. Because I'll tell you right now, he's not honoring the no-trade clause, and the Royals aren't cutting him. So he's on this team. He's not going to want to be traded anywhere, and the Royals aren't going to get rid of him. So, and they shouldn't, based on the amount of money they owe him and, what he's done for the organization, frankly. So the question is, what would you do with Salvador Perez, knowing where things are in the injury front? Because I don't feel like it's an easy thing to figure out on that end.
I think it's an extension, and even maybe more so, of how they've treated him the last month or so, which is going to be more off days. Obviously, Carter Jensen needs to play, a huge chunk.
If everyday starter, start more games than Salvi.
So
right?
that's what. So it needs to just be an extension of what we've seen the last month or two, which is Carter Jensen's behind the dish majority of the time, if not every day, and it's more days off for Salvador Perez. It's the lineup that we're seeing where Salvi's, batting sixth, seventh, in the order. That's what it needs to be moving forward. But more off days even than he got this year.
I will say this is part of the trouble, though, is that for Carter Jensen, when you have a catcher who hits at his level, traditionally you would like them to catch a few less days in order to preserve what is a very important bat, and you would like to sneak in some DH days. This year, he has caught 74 games and DH'd just 41. I do not think that was the original plan. It wasn't going to be a 2-to-1 scenario. It was going to be like 50-50, or they were going to give him more days off. Look, he's a much worse hitter when he DHs this year, of all things. This is a really weird split. You ready for this? As a catcher this year, he hits 244 with a 321 on base and a 779 OPS. When he DHs, he's hitting 179 with a 266 on base and a 566 OPS in 41 games. Jeez. Stinks when he DHs. We talk about Jack Caglione when he plays first. What the hell's going on with Carter when he's not catching? Not in the game mentally, not the same. Doesn't feel like he's got as much going on. I can't explain it. It's a small enough sample size, I'd say.
Yeah, he's been striking out a lot here recently, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a stretch of games right now. I mean, he struck out again last night. I can't remember. I was talking to somebody else about this, one of my friends, actually, last night about it. And, yeah, heading into last night, last 5 games, he has 1 strikeout in 4 of them. So he's got 5 strikeouts in his last 6, I think.
Yeah. Well, but in fairness, and he's been hitting a little bit worse, but his overall season numbers are so fine.
I understand. We're just talking about right now.
Yeah,
but no. Carter Jensen's been a bright spot of the 2026 Royals. I'm just saying currently where we're at.
But that might also be because he's catching too much. Again, this goes back to the same thing. Very few, I will tell you, very few catchers in baseball play the amount he plays, right? Or Salvador Perez plays, probably more importantly. People don't catch that much. It's crazy. It's more than you would traditionally like. That's why I'm asking. I think it might still need to be 80-80 with Salvi behind the dish and just hope that he's a better hitter, protect Carter Jensen from some of the other injury stuff. And look, I saw someone said he's only hitting 221. I got bad news for you. If you haven't been following catching, Carter Jensen is one of the 5 most productive hitting catchers in Major League Baseball this season. So you can cite all you want to me. He's hitting 221 with a 303 on base. I'm just going to be very clear to you. Carter Jensen is hitting better than almost all catchers in Major League Baseball. You gotta forget about what the numbers look like for Aaron Judge or other guys and understand he's a catcher at 22 years old who has now played 119 games and caught 74 of them, which is higher than it was ever supposed to be because Salvador Perez elbow injury and because Salvador Perez was bad. Like, that's why I feel like next year's plan should be an 80-game split. Maybe that's a bad way to look at it, but I'm looking closer to, like, maybe what the plan was for him in, 2 years ago, right? Maybe not when it was Carter Jensen, but Salvador Perez and the way he was splitting time with Freddie Fermin before he left town. That's all. We did get an update, by the way. I saw, So we had talked, maybe it was 2 weeks ago on the show, that Akron was going to do this whole big raffle contest for a chance to help script the first 10 plays of their opening game. Genius.
Great idea. You had to buy season tickets in order to do it. It led to them selling out, I think, on season tickets. They were selling more suites. And so people all across the country were buying tickets. And some pretty notable media personalities were getting in on this. I think Pat McAfee bought tickets. Big Cat from Barstool bought tickets in the hopes of getting a chance to call the opening drive. Well, Akron yesterday announced the finalists. So they're smart. They're trying to drag this out. 10 finalists for the first drive offensive coordinator position, if you will. The finalists include Big Cat from Barstool, of course.
How?
And also a very popular college football content creator that some of you might follow, Bordeaux or whatever.
Bordeaux.
Whatever.
It's spelled exactly like the wine.
Oh, that guy.
He's in there?
Anyway.
All right.
So,
And it said that, I will say this, it said it's only 9 finalists because the 10th guy pulled out. Why'd you enter the raffle if you didn't know when to actually call the plays?
Anybody that bought season tickets was entered. So maybe someone truly is an Akron fan and just like, I don't want to call the plays. I don't know why you would say no.
Not?
Who knows? It could be someone that just doesn't want that.
The only thing I can think of is somebody did it out of a joke, but they're too far. Like they're never going to go to the game. They just did it to be part of the deal.
I would fly to Akron, Ohio, to do this. Are you kidding me?
I'd do it tomorrow if they said we'll let you call 10 plays.
I think what's happening is, one, they can't convince me. They said the athletic department did not pull the names. They said the accounting department did. Or the accounting school, I think, did at the university.
But of all things they called Big Cat?
I'm convinced something's up there. Now, I don't think he's going to win it. I think they're smart. He's a top 10 finalist. It gets them to talk more about it on Barstool. Big Cat can keep talking about it, and then eventually somebody else wins it.
I don't think he should win it, yeah.
Yeah, I hope he actually doesn't win it, but it's smart of Akron to make him a finalist, honestly, because it gets people talking about it more.
For sure.
And Big Cat's defense, people were giving him a hard time, obviously, about it. And they were like, what the hell are you going to do with season tickets to Akron? And he said he donated them to a non-for-profit called Tickets for Kids. So it's like he bought the season tickets to Akron and then just donated them to a charity.
Which is great. Yeah, that's awesome.
You guys use the tickets. It's fine. Because Big Cat's not going to go out to every Akron football game and do that. And they should have better attendance, you would think, right? If they're just giving the tickets away, there'll be people who are there.
I would presume. I think
it's going to look fishy if he wins it.
Yeah, which is the problem I think I'd have with it.
I don't know. I mean,
he might be he might be clean as a whistle in this whole thing, and he might actually win it legitimately as anybody else would have. But it does come across as a little bit fishy when he's obviously Big Cat's a Wisconsin guy. If he wins it, like, what are you doing? Like, what exactly role do you have in this? Are you doing? He did more as yeah, sure, I'd love to do this more than I'm an Akron fan or whatever. I'm a student at Akron or whatever the case is.
I guess part of it is this is why it looks fishy. You did a thing to get attention for your program and sell tickets. This, Big Cat winning, would seem to be another thing in that category of things, right?
But people would think, again, I think
it would just be too on the nose.
Yes, you make him a finalist, you get the attention. Him winning it, everybody on earth is going to say, "Oh, you intentionally picked this guy." Yeah, I think it's a terrible look if he wins it. But they're getting a ton of pub for it. So at this point in time, it's just very smart.
Have they announced that game's going to be that first game's going to be sold out?
I'm sure it is. Now, will it be sold out as in tickets sold? And how many people bought season tickets? Like, is Pat McAfee making his way to Akron, Ohio? No, he's going to be somewhere else. So there will be people that bought 4 tickets, 2 tickets, whatever, that just don't show up to a single game this year.
Man,
I guess they could sell our tickets to somebody in Akron.
The problem there too is that there's too many good games early in the season where if you were a school and you wanted game day to be there, this would be cool to have. But obviously, game day is not going to Akron.
No, they open up their season
game against Robert Morris. It's just not happening.
Yeah, they open up on the road at Wake Forest, and then their first home game, which is when this whole thing is taking place, is against Robert Morris, as you said, on the 12th, and then they get into.
And on the week of the 12th, obviously, that's Mizzou KU. Mm-hmm. I think Texas is playing Ohio State that week. There's no way the game day would ever be there, obviously.
So that's an update on the Akron call your own plays contest.
Did you guys enter? I don't even know if you guys entered.
I did not buy tickets.
I did not.
So once you guys told, when I saw it was just $80, I said, oh, that'd be a fun show thing. But then you guys informed me that it's $80 for the ticket, and then I would have to donate, what was it, $250 to the Akron NIL fund, and I was like, okay, I'm good.
They want to build the NIL. Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Smart on their part, but I'm not doing that. If it was just an $80 ticket to get entered, it'd be a fun show bit if all of a sudden we were flying to Akron, Ohio to go call the opening drive. It'd be amazing.
That would be pretty epic.
It would be amazing.
You got to call a reverse or a flea flicker.
Again,
hook and ladder. You got to call one weirdo play. I'm telling you.
They said though, again, it's in consultation with the head coach. You guys have to script out the play. So he's got to agree to it. Now you might be able to talk him into a trick play, but he's not going to run 5 trick plays on the drive. It's not going to make a mockery of the entire thing. All right, up next, so let's get back into the Chiefs as camp wrapped up today in St. Joe. Let's talk more about Rashee Rice and a plan if a certain thing happens for him and what the backup quarterback spot might look like. I know for this year it shouldn't matter, hopefully, but it might be a good thing in the future.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance. And now we're customizing this rush hour ad to keep you calm, which could help your driving. And science says therapy is great for a healthy mindset. So enjoy this 14-second session on us. I think you've done everything right and absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, anything that hasn't gone your way could probably be blamed on your father not being emotionally available because his father wasn't emotionally available, and so on. And now that you're calm and healing, you're probably driving better too.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When you need electrical services, AB May is here to help your house feel like a home again. Serving Kansas City for over 65 years, AB May handles it all, from generators, electrical panels, home lighting, and much more. When it comes to your home, solved is our standard. And AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Trusted by generations. Call AB May at 913-383-2222 or visit abmay.com today.
Call your servicemen from AB May.
Kansas City football fans, Dana Hughes here. Countdown to kickoff is officially on, so now is the time to stock the cooler with Yingling Flight. Whether you're headed to training camp, firing up the grill, or getting together with family and friends on game day, Yingling Flight is the perfect way to enjoy the football season. At just 95 calories and 2.6 grams of carbs, it's everything you want in a light beer. Yingling Flight, the next generation of light beer. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Enjoy responsibly.
Did you know Skechers makes high-performance footwear for almost every sport you play? Here's what our athletes are saying.
Hi, I'm pro basketball player OG Anunoby. I dominate in Skechers basketball. Skechers delivers championship-level performance.
I'm WNBA star Jackie Young. Skechers keeps me quick, comfortable, and ready for anything.
And you can get high-performance Skechers and hands-free slip-ins technology. Just step in and perform.
I'm pro golfer Matt Fitzpatrick. I play in hands-free Skechers golf slip-ins.
Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or whatever high-performance sports shoes are sold.
I scream. You scream. We all scream. Because Wendy's famous small classic Frosty is just $1 for a limited time. More screaming, happy screaming, summer screaming, dollar small classic Frosty screaming! But please don't scream in the drive-thru. It hurts the employees' ears. Get a $1 small classic Frosty for a limited time, only at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid for delivery. Limit 10 per transaction. Price may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
J. Rieger & Co. Oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City. J. Rieger & Co. Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Winner of Best Craft Bourbon at the 2025 Ascot Awards. At 90 proof, it's rich, well-balanced, and oh, so good. Quality crafted in Kansas City.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Reminder, Royals baseball today, so we'll hand things off to Vern at noon for Vern's On Deck show. We'll get back into some of the breaking news of the day. Spent a good chunk of the first segment discussing Ashton Gelati. We now know, according to Andy Reid, the reason why he's been out for a couple days, he unfortunately has a ruptured plantar fascia. I don't know which foot that would be, left or right.
I think there's one in both of them.
No, but you are correct. There is a plantar fascia in both your left and right foot.
Matt Foster posted a video. I can't remember which one it was either.
I guess it doesn't matter, right? I guess ultimately it doesn't matter. There is a video that Matt Foster did post. I'm watching it right now. We'll be able to find out here in just a second.
Apparently, it's the play that he did it that he got.
Yeah,
wrong.
his right. Yeah. Yep, it's his right foot. The plantar fascia in his right foot. We don't know a timeline on it. I think it's safe to say he's not playing week 1 of the season, though, at bare minimum.
Yeah. I mean, Andy called them nicks and bruises, but I would assume based on the way they've been moving around the defensive line, this would be an easy way to just shuffle maybe PUP list and then figure out from there, depending on what needs to be done. The
Mac
problem
did a
is
quick Google search, and it was 6 to 12 weeks.
Omar Norman Lott would also be a candidate for the PUP list, you would think, based on when he
I think that's a given, yeah.
When he may be available for the team later in the year. So they're missing two guys in the defensive line who you were hoping to be contributors in 2027. Now, in fairness, Omar Norman Lott, at no point this offseason did they plan on week one contribution from him. I think it matters for FAU, Agba, in probably even more from R. Mason Thomas, Tonga, and Woods. You know, it goes even further down the defensive line, not just the edge guys, but some of the other guys they'll be counting on, obviously, to contribute. So they'll do that. The other part about this is like the offseason injuries and these ticky-tack injuries, I feel like are going to have an impact on the season this year. I'm not like fully online in the sense that I think Rashee Rice looks like overweight or like people are like, you know, making the jokes that like guy looks like he's moving in quicksand. He doesn't look to be anywhere close to game speed yet, I think is probably fair. But he was never, and I think this is probably important, he was never like a burner. Like Rashee Rice wasn't out there just making everybody look like they were standing still either. He was good in the middle part of the areas, good at getting open, good in zone coverage, similar to that as Travis Kelce. But I do think I'm kind of mentally preparing for maybe a bit of a slow start from him because the offseason knee surgery, the slow start to training camp, the unavailability for a portion of it, he's got 3 more weeks of practice to get fully up there. But I think it might take 1 or 2 weeks before Rice starts to kind of look closer to himself, which isn't the end of the world when you're having an offseason surgery. But like, I just don't plan on him hitting the ground running, I guess is what I would say.
I don't think it will be a slow start.
You think it'll be fine?
I don't think, you know, the football shape stuff, to me, he has gotten through that already during camp. The first day or so that he was actually out at practice, you could tell the Chiefs were intentionally having him not get many plays off. Like, hey, he was leaving to go on the sideline. They're like, no, get back in the huddle. But I think they got him in shape. It doesn't take much. I'll go to Dana Hughes' comments yesterday, former Chiefs wide receiver, when he joined us about that, where you can have guys that don't show up in shape at camp, and by the end of camp, he's talking about during his days, back at camp, those guys were in unbelievable shape. So Rashee Rice, yes, we all know he had to rehab the knee while he was in and out of jail, unfortunately. But when you look at camp and being in football shape from day 1 to 3.5 weeks in St. Joe, it's not hard to get in shape at a position like wide receiver. This is not the same as like when we made jokes back in the day of Kelvin Benjamin overeating and Deebo Samuel a year or so ago. That's not what has happened here with Rashee Rice. I disagree. I think he will be ready to go to start the season. Now, the part I'm most concerned about with Rashee Rice on the field is the drops. And has he cleared that up? Because he did have a bunch of drops yesterday at practice as well. That's way more concerning than like, hey, is he just in shape and running the routes the proper way or able to finish the route the proper way? I'm more worried about the drops that we saw at camp.
Look, the truth is, no, it's not secured away because he's still doing it. And I guess this goes back to, like you're mentioning what Danon said. I would mention what Nate said, too, when he was talking about, like, Eric Bieniemy has to yell at him every single day to finish a play. Like, go all the way through the whistle, Rashee. And I wonder if some of that's just from, like, exhaustion. Like, he's not, you don't want to, you hope it's not effort.
Yeah.
And then it's
but he's
just
got
like,
another 3. If you still, I don't think
he does
is,
have another 3 weeks.
If you think he's not in shape still, and I disagree on it, but if that's the case, he's got 3 more weeks before that's, you understand. This just because camp, as you know, I know you know this, but just remind people just because training camp ended today does not mean that they're just that they're still practicing after the preseason game on Saturday. They're just not in St. Joe anymore.
I will say I hope I'm right and you're not, because I don't think he looks quite as swift as normal. So, like, I hope for our sake that I'm right in a weird way, only because if you're right and he's up to shape and he's other good, then I don't think he looks as spry as he used to. I don't feel like he's moving with the same intention as I am accustomed to out of Rashee Rice. And again, that's not to say that I think he just looks terrible, but I don't think he looks quite the same as I'm used to in previous training camps. And I feel like he's still got some work to do in order to like get back to. I mean, right now,
he was let's be clear, he was never just this guy that look how quick he is off the line of scrimmage. That was never his game.
No doubt.
Are we not going to know until they play a game, though? Because I think, Cody, to what you're saying, in those clips, when he's going up against Mansour or even Noah Williams, I think to an extent, there's no separation, and I don't know if that is because Mansour Delane is that dude, like we kind of expect him to be, as much as it is Rasheed's just out of shape or hasn't quite caught back up to where he expects to be at. Or,
and he was
or
really bad against man coverage last year.
Yeah.
I think what's tough about it is, like, right now, we still assume that Rashee Rice is the most important wide receiver, because if we all ranked right now, all right, let's guess who has the most targets on the Chiefs this year. We all guessing Rice? I am.
Should be.
I
think he's been on pace at least when he's played.
He's been well above everybody anytime he's on the football field. He's been ahead of Travis Kelce when he's on the football field. We should safely assume that this season, if Rashee Rice is available for 17 games, he will easily lead the team in targets. Like, I'm not even sure it would be all that close of a race, unless Cyrus Allen really is Puka Nacua or something. Then it's just probably, or, Travis Kelce turns back the clock 10 years. It's hard to imagine a world in which he isn't the leader. And I guess that's why I just understand. I'm probably being nitpicky, in fairness, but it is because he is their number one wide receiver, and you kind of want him up and going from jump right away, looking the same, looking like Rice when he's on the field in the previous 2 seasons when he's healthy, and finding ways to at least get yards, get catches, those things.
And you absolutely could end up being right. I'm just saying it's interesting how we've both have talked about this season and how we've talked about the Broncos game. And none of us have given official predictions for week 1, but if we had a topic earlier this week too, you say you think the defense is going to start slow. You're now telling me you think Rice is going to start slow.
I like the schedule, though.
How the hell are you picking the Chiefs to win in week 1? You better be picking the Broncos to win the way you're talking, which is fine. I'm just saying, like, everything you've said this week would tell me you absolutely think the Chiefs are losing week 1. You think the defense is starting slow, which I'm not even saying you're wrong, but that Rashee Rice is not going to start great. I mean, how are they winning week 1, Cody?
So, and I guess just Mahomes. I don't think Mahomes will start slow, so I guess whatever that's worth. In fairness, I'd have to, like when we get closer to it, obviously we'll make those predictions. I don't think it's out of the question to predict them to lose.
Totally. No, they're only 2.5-point favorites anyway, right?
It's definitely not out of question. That's at least, and this is something I pointed out too. The one good thing about these things are their schedule favors a slow by their state, and they can win and
they
not
need a quick
be
start
up to
though.
speed.
Like, because they got to take advantage of the schedule.
Sure, but I think they can win games. Like, I think the defense can be a bit rocky, or Rice can be a little off kilter and still win football games, because Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, their ability to win close games. Like, I just give them the benefit that against the Cardinals, even if the defense isn't up to speed.
And that's in the Cardinals game is like week 10 anyway.
Against that late?
It's late. Week 2, it's the Colts, though, to your point. Yeah. Against the Colts, you can get
they
by.
They don't have to play their A game.
But in week 1 against the Broncos, I'm not so sure.
That's the one. I think that's the one game maybe in their first 5 weeks where you're like, before the bye, 6 weeks before. Because really, when I say slow start, I pretty much mean before the bye.
Okay, so here's just for refresh. I know you know, but just to refresh everybody's memory. They open up, Monday night, gets the Broncos at home to the Colts, at Miami, at the Raiders, then the bye. So that's what, even if in that scenario, worst case scenario, they need to be 3-1.
Their bye's in week 5?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
I know. I remember it was early. I didn't think it was.
It's the earliest in the NFL
I didn't think
year.
it was that
Which
early.
is why I guess whenever we find out more about this Ashton Gelati injury, what's the timeline for him? Is there a chance that the bye helps him in that scenario if it means that he's in that time frame? Without knowing more, as I said, I'm guessing it's a late October thing for Gelati at the earliest, but who knows? Maybe I'm way off. I hope it's all of a sudden it's week 3 and he's good to go magically.
I will say the only thing, and I'm not saying the Ashton Gelati news is nothing, because it's definitely not nothing. That'd be too unfair. On the Chiefs' defensive line, where does he rank as most important defensive lineman? I probably would have had him behind R. Mason Thomas anyway. Maybe that's a bad way of looking at it.
Not in week 1, I wouldn't.
I would have had him
long term and for the season.
Okay.
Not in week 1. You're asking a lot now.
Week 1 versus that's fair. I was just ranking as like for this season.
Yeah, for the season and long term, of course, it's R. Mason Thomas. You draft him in the second round, and the speed rusher capability that he has, they don't have anybody else that can really get to that level. I just think in week 1, you're now asking a lot of R. Mason Thomas.
R. Mason's going to start then, right? Because
it
would have been Gelati.
I would think so, yeah.
But in active members, let's just call Gelati in this, he would have been behind Jones, Tonga, Woods, Karlaftis. I would have had him, even still, I think, slightly behind R. Mason and then Gelati. So he's an important player, and he was more important than FAU or Agba or some of these other guys who are further down the depth chart. But, I mean, at least they actually have some other names on the defensive line for the first time in a million years. This is why they spent their second-round pick and their first-round pick on defensive linemen. They can cover it slightly better this year than they could in a number of other years, right?
Yeah. And last year he had 1.5 sack. So I don't want to make it seem like Gelati is coming off a 7-sack year, and it's like, oh my gosh. But we were all expecting Gelati to take the leap from 1.5. Could he be a 4-sack guy this year?
I think at one point we were hoping that he would play more because Charles Omenihu was struggling, and Nadi, like the rest of the line was struggling. Where I think we all had been talking about on the show that we wanted him to get more of a look.
And here's the other secondary part of this injury that we haven't mentioned. It seems minor, but I wonder how it'll impact Saturday. Now that you know Gelati's going to miss some time, how much? I mean, you want to see our Mason Thomas Saturday, but you got to be careful about playing him now because he might be, as we're saying, he might be your starting defensive end. Emmanuel Ogbah, like some of these guys that now are going to be asked to do more. How much do you want to even play them? But our Mason Thomas at the same time does need some more reps if he's going to be the guy. It's a tough juggling
Felix
act.
He's going to get some run, for sure.
Most of it is ticky-tack stuff, as in they'll recover it within the time before the season starts. Not the Gelati one, but the other ones. Shut the whole preseason down. They got just enough injury problems at just enough important places. It's like for Mahomes. 3 of the starting offensive linemen are going to play. Don't put them behind backup offensive linemen. We're not nuts. Like borderline, I'm not so sure Justin Fields should play. He will. But like our Mason, Ogbah, like people who I'm counting on, like FAU, I don't need FAU playing in a preseason game, Drew. It can be all the guys' names you don't even know. It could be the players on the roster that, like, unless you're a huge college football fan from the last 10 years, you're like, who? It can be all of those guys for the next 2 games as far as I'm concerned. It's just enough injury risk that in a lot of different positions, corner, defensive line, quarterback, offensive line, it's like spread out everywhere. I'm not real interested in risking much in the preseason.
Yeah, I still just think if it's a longer timetable and we're talking about Publis or IR for Gelati, I wonder on the waiver wire I think they're going to have to bring somebody in. It doesn't mean they're bringing in a guy that's going to start over everybody. I just mean they're going to have to bring somebody in, I think, for that defensive line rotation. I mean, they like to rotate guys. They like to rotate plenty of different bodies in there on the defensive line to begin with. And then now you're telling me that in week 1 against the Broncos, I think it's very fair to say you're not going to have Gelati.
I wonder if they...
It could be Malik Herring or something. Is he a free agent?
No, not that.
Someone mentioned Charles Omenihu on the text
former
line.
Chief.
Oh, he didn't have anything left. He's done. He's done.
Because because it's weird. The way the preseason works now, too, is traditionally you would have like cut days. Like there'd be multiple cut days where instead you just have one massive one. Do they wait until they find out, well, who got cut, who didn't, and then they just fire on the waiver wire, or they look at a practice squad and try to snag somebody off of that, or whatever the case
aren't they 8th on the waiver order right now?
Yeah, they're relatively high.
So that gives them a decent chance at claiming some defensive lineman maybe that another team cuts.
Are there going to be, do we know, I haven't paid any attention, are there going to be any like surprise cuts where young player steps up to be really good, they cut a vet who might have been solid last year, but they want to save some money or they want to save a roster spot for a young guy?
Gordon want to get, that'd be the guy. Is he getting?
Panthers aren't cutting him.
I don't think after paying him what they did, I don't think so either.
Yeah, to answer your question, Drew, I
haven't been paying too much
no
attention
clue who
outside
the cut candidates are for some other NFL teams on the defensive line. That's a good question.
Said they'd rather bring back Carlos Dunlap, retired Carlos Dunlap, than some of the other names that we mentioned.
What's Melvin Ingram doing? Age 40-something-year-old Melvin Ingram these days.
Spot Track's got a list of who they think are potential NFL release candidates. Okay. As in, guys who they think could be surprise guys on the list. I will point out that Christian Fulton's on this list.
Yeah, they're not eating that money.
And Calvin Ridley. So there's a couple of interesting names. Slayton from the Cincinnati Bengals to Darryl Slayton. I don't know who that is.
He's an interior guy. There's no chance because they have Tonga.
Bud Dupree gets a mention on here. Solomon Thomas gets a mention on here as possible guys. Ty Hamilton for the Rams gets a mention on here. There's a couple of guys. Nwosu, the edge guy for Seattle, gets a mention on here as well. So he's a $20 million 2026 cap hit. So obviously they'd be just looking to save money. What can the Chiefs even save money if they moved on from Christian Fulton?
No, I don't think he's a cut candidate. I think they still owe him over $10 million, don't they?
I thought so too. They had him listed on here, and I was just asking.
He's a name that people have been saying maybe they could try to find a trade for. What's the dead
$8 million
cap?
dead cap, $5 million to cut him.
Yeah, I think he's worth being on the roster still for
that number.
For that number.
I just don't think you're going to get a corner that you would like to play more for $5 million. I guess is the problem. Unless that money's going to, if it gone to not Von Miller because he's maybe not the right scheme fit.
I mean, if Cam Jordan was willing to leave, I think that's what he signed for, wasn't it?
No. Well, you know my show.
Maybe
Cam Jordan was on the offseason wish list all offseason until he returned to New Orleans.
Or whatever, like Jadeveon Clowney. I don't know the number that he signed for, if it was $5 million-ish or whatever.
It was in that range.
Just for the sake of the conversation, you mentioned Minihue. He's actually signed by the Commanders anyway. Not that I would want him back, but he's in Washington with the Commanders. They signed Chanel, they signed Leo, and Charles Minihue in D.C. A couple former Chiefs there.
I don't know how accurate that list is. Calvin Ridley, boy, that'd be a surprise cut. Why would they cut away one guy who might actually have a chance of being decent? He had 1,000 yards 2 years ago. If you're Tennessee, you got you got a young quarterback. You're just going to run him out of town and just hand it all over to Carnell Tate?
They brought in Wandale too, so I don't know if that's part of it.
I forgot Wandale Robinson. Yeah, because what do you call it? Brian Dable's the OC in Tennessee, and so that's the Wandale Robinson relationship. He was, of course, in New York as well.
They can't cut him. This is the one. Maybe that spot track list isn't very good. They can't cut him at all. It would actually cost them more money to cut him.
Oh.
Unless there's some number I'm not seeing. I mean, he definitely won't be a Titan next year when he's 33 years old and they'll save $23 million. Like, I didn't realize Calvin Ridley was that old either, in fairness. He's 32? What the hell were they doing giving him that contract?
Yeah, I would have, Cody, I would have bet that he was like 28, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He's 32 years old.
You didn't get the bet part, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he got in trouble, did he?
Yeah, for betting, yeah.
Calvin Ridley. Oh, is he still suspended?
He was one of the guys.
No, this is years ago.
He was one of the guys that was in there.
He was one of the guys that got suspended for a year or so for betting.
There's been so many players now who have had these issues now recently. You forget some of them.
Yeah, between that. I like that people just mentioning former Chiefs on there now.
Yeah, someone mentioned Passanio or whatever. Thanks, Lance, for the text. We are going to be in Vegas next week for our shows, Thursday and Friday. Yep. And last year we were in Vegas. We were joking around about the first ever NFL Protector of the Year odds, which is the first ever offensive lineman award.
You might remember I bet it.
You did. You bet on Creed Humphrey. We were saying it's tough for a center to win the award. And last year the winner was former Chief, Joe Thuney, who was a guard, had a great year for the Chicago Bears. In general, we don't know what much of a track record yet for this award. This is only year 2. I think tackles are going to long-term end up winning this award just because it's the more important position. But the question is next week when we go out to Vegas, are you going to bet on Protector of the Year award again? And are you going back to the well with Creed Humphrey? Where are his odds at? Because I think he has the 3rd or 4th best odds.
So I'll tell you right now, just based on the way that this works, he will, in my opinion, win that award once in his NFL career.
That might be true. Yeah.
I 1,000% believe that Creed Humphrey will win Protector of the Year at some point in his NFL career. Do I think it's going to go to a center this year? Feels unlikely because a guard got it last year.
I think tackle.
And so I feel like this is probably the tackle year. But I don't want to just go out there and bet the favorite in Penei Sewell. I honestly think I probably should personally bet Creed Humphrey every year until he wins it. That's my lean.
You should.
At Circa, I think he's 13-1. Creed
13-1?
He's got the 4th best odds, I believe.
Okay.
Some other names on the list. If you're going to stick with the Chiefs, you want to take a flyer on somebody and hope he plays all year. Josh Simmons, 80-1. Josh Simmons, 80-1 right now to win Protector of the Year.
He got enough name recognition?
Yeah,
I think you're going to have to be a name
That's
to
why
win that award.
Tristan Wirfs, who's very good, but also as a name, 9-1. Garrett Bowles there with the Broncos is 11-1. Joe Alt with the Chargers, if he stays healthy, 13-1. I actually don't hate that one.
Simmons would have to go on a stretch, Cody, of like no pressures allowed for the first 10 weeks of the season or so. No sacks allowed, something crazy.
That won't do it. I'm just telling you right now.
You still don't think so?
You know I think we can all know for a fact, even though there's only been 1 year of this award, you have to be a name. Somebody offensive linemen already respect and know about in order to win the award.
That's why Penei Sewell's favored by so much.
Last year, by the way, despite the fact the Chiefs stunk, Creed Humphrey was still a finalist for the award.
Yeah, because he's one of the best, if not the best center in football. Yeah.
He was a finalist. It was Garrett Bowles, center Aaron Brewer, center Creed Humphrey, Quinn Minards, Joe Thuney, and Penei Sewell. So there were 2 offensive tackles, 2 guards, 2 centers. Which I'll guess, based on the fact that it's a panel full of offensive linemen who played all 5 spots, that it'll probably end up being something close to that every single year. I'm going to bet Creed again. I'm betting Creed to win Protector of the Year until the guy wins it. He is one of the best protectors. He's a future Hall of Fame center. Why not? I'm going to bet him again.
I know a guard won it last year, but I still think in most years the safest bet is going to be to pick a tackle or 2. and bet on the tackles. I just think the nature of the position, you're right about name recognition, but I also think tackles. We know the importance of it. That's the position that everybody highlights. It's pretty rare, honestly, for a guard to get highlighted. So the fact that Joe Thuney won it in year one speaks to how good he's been throughout his entire NFL career. Yeah. And he was on a Bears team that got a lot of pub and recognition. The good news for Creed's case, or even Josh Simmons' case, is that they're going to be talked about all year. They're going to be in multiple primetime games. That'll help. And this year, you're protecting a quarterback coming off an ACL injury. If you do a great job of that, I think that could help Josh Simmons' case. When we go to Vegas, I might put like $10 on Simmons at 80 to 1.
So you're gonna put something on Simmons. I'll put something on Creed,
just for the hell of it. Yeah.
I will not be betting on Orlando Brown Jr. guys. Sorry,
you probably should not. And when we're out there, we'll have to keep an eye. Cyrus Allen's odds for Rookie of the Year, separate award, have dropped. He was 80 to 1. He's 60 to 1 now.
Is that what he is?
He's 60 to. I don't know about sir. This is at FanDuel.
Where does that put him? Who else is around him? I guess that we would know.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. So he's like 20 or something on the list.
Still though, for a 4th round pick or whatever he was, I mean, to have those odds is kind of crazy.
17th. I'm sorry, 17th best odds to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
60 to 1
in week one against the Broncos on Monday Night Football, if he has 65 yards and a touchdown, all of a sudden he's going to be 15 to 1 very quickly.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. That's why it's like,
I still don't think
good value on my ticket, even if I don't think it's going to win it. You know?
I don't think he's capable statistically of winning it, but it's a fun flyer.
Didn't Puka Nacua not win in his rookie year?
No, he did. Remember C.J. Stroud? He didn't because C.J. Stroud. Yeah,
Puka Nacua had 1,500 yards his rookie year.
Because C.J. was breaking
Stroud
records.
And didn't win it.
Stroud had the best season for a rookie quarterback in NFL history at the time. The good news this year for non-quarterbacks, Offensive Rookie of the Year, is there's only one quarterback really that can win it. And it's Fernando Mendoza, who has the second best odds, and we don't know when he's going to play. But that's the tricky thing. Even if Mendoza doesn't play till week 8, if he comes in week 8 or 9 and he just looks decent, he's going to become the favorite. And then, of course, you got Jeremiah Love, who's still the favorite despite the high ankle sprain.
What would it take for Cyrus Allen to win it? Because you're just thinking how many touches Jeremiah Love is going to have.
Mendoza to not get in until after week 10 for starters.
Jeremiah Love to start slow.
And then Cyrus Allen to be a 900-plus yard guy.
I think it'd have to be over 1,000.
Yeah. It's a 900 plus.
Yeah. I think it'd have to be at least 1,000. I could be wrong. Small move in the NFL, by the way. The Bills are adding some secondary help. They've signed former Bills safety Taylor Rapp to their
they're bringing him back
roster. Bringing back Taylor Rapp. The Broncos have signed him, not the Bills.
Okay. Sorry, I think you said
the Bills are bringing back.
Former Bills safety signed with the Broncos.
Former Bills safety signed with the Broncos.
I got you.
So something in the division. Taylor Rapp heading to the Denver Broncos.
How old is he? I think he's
got
up there at age too.
Yeah.
He's 28. Never mind.
What?
God,
so he's 28, but Calvin Ridley's 32.
I'd have had those backwards if you'd have made me guess. It might be because Taylor Rapp has just been one of those players like Matt Milano.
Does he have a bad rap? Is that what you're saying?
He's just been hurt. He's just been hurt a lot. He only played 6 games last year for Buffalo.
All right, up next, guys, let's talk more about Andy Reid, who spoke to the media. And then once again, a yearly conversation has come up about Andy Reid and his future. We'll also discuss what the Raiders are already asking for with their new stadium. Next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Man, I should not have tried to handle this car wreck stuff myself.
Why?
Insurance keeps calling. I gotta find a body shop, rental car, doctor's appointments. Now they're asking for a bunch of other things.
Dude, why are you trying to do this yourself?
Call the Car Crash Kings.
That's literally what they do. You worry about getting better. They deal with the insurance, the paperwork, the calls, all of it.
Hurt in a car wreck? Don't do it yourself. Call the Car Crash Kings. It's what we do.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely from advertisements.
That'll be $54.52.
Perfect. Grab the bags, honey.
Mom, why do you always check your phone before we pay?
I'm just claiming my cash back on the Upside app. Since we're getting a $10 bonus on groceries here and we filled up the car on the way, we already earned enough this morning to pay for some extra treats you can bring to school this week.
Wait, so the app pays for snacks?
Not exactly, but the cash I earn on stuff we need helps us pay for the stuff we want. It's just a little win for our family every week.
With Upside, you can earn cash back on your everyday essentials and back-to-school favorites. The free app also gets you cash back on routine purchases like gas and dining out at more than 100,000 locations nationwide. No points, no rebates, just cash back straight to your wallet. Download the free Upside app and use promo code HANDBOOK to get a $10 bonus on your first purchase. That's promo code HANDBOOK to get a $10 bonus. Remember, use promo code HANDBOOK.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Football season is just around the corner, and just like your favorite team, you've got to fuel up to perform. At Break Time, we've got your training camp essentials, ice-cold drinks, protein-packed snacks, and all your game day favorites. Whether you're hitting the field or cheering from the sidelines, teamwork starts with the right fuel. Let's go! One team, one goal! Swing by Break Time, your home team for snacks, drinks, and everything in between. Download our mobile app and find a location near you. We're proud to be Missouri made.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out, leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do. Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer. Jack got suckered. Make sure you aren't hung out to dry. Call our dad at Rex Buys KC. Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals. No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises. Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process. Now, don't be like Jack. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
T-Mobile is launching something no other wireless network offers. Introducing Nothing. Pay nothing today and walk out of the store with a new phone.
What did he say?
Nothing.
You definitely said something about nothing.
Exactly. Go to T-Mobile, pay nothing up front, and leave with a new phone.
Wait, nothing rules.
She gets it.
Hey, thanks for nothing.
For the first time ever, switch to T-Mobile, pay nothing. No taxes, no fees, no money down. And walk out with a new phone. There are 250 reasons to choose T-Mobile, and now nothing is holding you back.
On eligible devices with qualifying credit plan and 36-month finance agreement.
Futures Week starts August 31st with everyone's NFL predictions. This is Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Reminder, 1 hour from now, we have things off to Vern for his on-deck show as the Royals continue their series against the A's right here on 96.5 The Fan. We will get right back into the Chiefs in just a second, including a question that is coming up yet again around Andy Reid. It's an annual occurrence at this point. We'll also, in the Chiefs Red half hour here in a half hour, discuss more about Ashton Gillotte. The unfortunate news after practice today, Andy Reid announcing that Ashton Gillotte has a ruptured plantar fascia in his right foot. And so that's going to take some time. We don't know an exact timeline, but I think we all know it's not something that's going to be good in a week or two. So how does that impact the season? We'll get back into that more. But before we get to any of that, you just did a little investigation during the break. You were on to something earlier this morning. We, of course, have been up in St. Joe. We are back in studio. And last Friday, we had a fan club. We had a couple guests in. We had one of our listeners. We had Matt Foster in studio as well. And so we had our headphones moved around. And when we were in St. Joe, you don't need your headphones. We have our broadcast headsets. So you left your headphones in the studio.
So I was like, well, I got in here and I was like, oh, no, my headphones aren't in my bag as we're getting ready to start the show. And then I remembered that I let a listener borrow them last week. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what? No big deal. I let a listener borrow them last week. there in the studio. And I want to point out that before I even did some sleuthing, I said, oh man, I left my headphones in the studio. And I knew that was a mistake because that meant Carrington Harrison would go about trying to steal them. And I'm like, you know what? Probably just being paranoid. And yet, I let my paranoid brain win, Drew. So what did I do? I found myself popping on the old 96.5 The Fan feed. Over on YouTube.
You did some investigation.
Over on YouTube, you can pop on the feeds. You can see old shows. And what do I see on Monday? And then again on Tuesday. And then again on Wednesday. And what I saw was Carrington wearing my headphones. Even though he knew they weren't his. He just saw cool headphones in the studio, popped them on his head, and then has been storing them over here where he keeps his own headphones. He just took them and just started using them for 3 days.
So where are they?
They're on my head
so
now.
They're back. They never left.
No, but he was just using them with because he usually steals Scott Park's headphones. Yeah. Carrington, I want to be very clear. This is not pocket watching. Carrington, without even knowing how much money he makes enough money to purchase headphones. I am at least confident of that one thing. And if not, I get Chick-fil-A once less this week or whatever the hell it takes.
I have enough money to purchase headphones.
Jeez, so much.
Why are you using my headphones?
I didn't want to take it there, but
and I will say headphones.
This has happened ever since I've been here 3 years now. Yeah. This has been an occurrence
for 7 years.
Carrington has been doing afternoons for 15 years. I think Carrington has been doing afternoons for 15 years in this market.
I think he's been borrowing headphones for 15 years.
And I don't think he's ever bought his own pair of headphones. It's pretty crazy. It really is.
It's a seek help moment. You got to stop And I will say, for a one-off, every once we'll do this. Headphones are a very personal thing in the sense that these have been
a very personal thing.
These are. I wear these 20 hours a week, 50 weeks a year. I put these on for 900 to 1,000 hours a year. I don't want somebody else's head on.
Yeah, you sweat all around the earbuds and everything as well. That's true. Everybody always, whenever we bring up this topic, people say, how come the station doesn't get them? That's just a radio. That doesn't matter what station I've ever worked at. Everybody provides their own headphones. No station buys you your headphones.
No station I've ever worked at.
That's just not, for whatever reason, that's just never been a thing. So it's just known that everybody has their own headphones. Plus, everybody likes different ones. Some people do like the in-ear ones. I can't do that for 4 hours. It would drive me crazy. My ears would hurt. So we all kind of like the over-the-ear ones. They're just more comfortable. But we all have different ones. Look, these are like $40 ones on Amazon. I've had for 2 years. I mean, they're not fancy ones. It doesn't take much. So yes, Carrington was borrowing your headphones. I'm not surprised.
They die once every year or 2 years, and I throw the old ones in the trash, and I buy new ones. And somehow Carrington has managed to go 15 full years without popping over to Target to buy a pair. I couldn't believe it.
Someone said Carrington might as well have used your toothbrush.
Genuinely. And also, why would he want 900,000 hours of these things on my ears? Why do you want to wear them?
Someone says, Cody, he's not stealing them, he's borrowing them. Then why are you saying he's stealing? Someone's upset with your word.
My characterization?
Your word usage there. Yeah.
I think he, you know why?
Here's why. Scott Parks hear this early because we could have him in here as well to vent.
Because I think if I had given him free reign, I think he would have stolen them. That's why.
Well, that's
you're saying if you had openly said he can have them, then he absolutely would not say no. They're yours. He would take them.
Yeah, but the difference is Carrington's never going to take them. Theft is different for Carrington in this scenario because he doesn't take them out of the studio.
How about this?
They don't leave the building. Mine leave the building.
We don't need to do this because, as you said, he should have his own pair. Today is Carrington's birthday, by the way. Happy birthday to Carrington. Happy birthday.
I'm going to clip this and tag. Actually, I'm going to go back and clip it.
It is happy birthday, Carrington.
Oh, happy birthday, Carrington. Sorry, man. I didn't realize it was your birthday. I could have saved this for a different day.
It is his birthday today.
Immediately feel bad.
Yeah, it is. It is his birthday. I'm like 95. I'm like 99% sure. Maybe you can get him a pair of headphones for his birthday.
Someone said from the text line they will donate a pair of Skull Candy headphones.
The thing is, I'm not even sure he's all that picky. He'll
apparently
steal
not.
Parks. He'll steal ones that are in the studio. He'll use headphones from anybody, anywhere in the building. So I don't think he's picky on the set of headphones.
Hang on a second. I know the pair that that frequents a lot.
The one Scott Parks used might cost $15.
That's what I'm trying to find.
It's a cheap pair of headphones.
$21 at Target right now. $21.
Someone said Carrington was bragging the other day not having to buy nosebleeds at Kaufman anymore, but he's not buying headphones. So he's got to allocate his funds elsewhere, I guess. I would
just point out, think about any product, anything you do in your job. And the same thing I said, if you had to use a keyboard and you had to use it 900 hours a year, and they were like, hey, you got to buy your own keyboard. You wouldn't just be like, I'll just borrow Golds every day.
Who buys their own keyboard?
I'm just using a different piece of pen.
You're trying to find any example.
If all you do is write if you're a lawyer and you have to write 900 hours a year, you'd buy a nice pen, your own pen. You wouldn't just you wouldn't just borrow one for the rest of time.
Happy birthday, Carrington.
Happy birthday, C-Dot.
Yeah. Someone said, Cody, grow up. From the 913. It's not like you're sharing condoms.
Relax.
Wow,
That's a
what kind of comp? What kind of comp is that?
That is terrible.
We jumped to
That's a terrible comp.
That's a terrible one.
Anyway,
happy birthday.
Your headphones are here though, Carrington. They're not gone.
Someone said he does wear earbuds sometimes.
When
who is those?
When he gets in the studio later.
If you're using other people's headphones with the earbud, that's nasty.
Oh,
where they're in your ear and there's
no
clearly some earwax that have gotten on there. That's nasty.
Yeah, that's.
Should we pitch in $5? Somebody said we should pitch in $5 and go buy him some of those Sony headphones for $20 at Target.
He doesn't need help purchasing them. He's an adult with an adult salary. He can purchase his own. This is not one of those like.
It's one of those.
Drew's a producer at the station, and a suit costs $200. This isn't one of those scenarios.
Thank you to the text line.
He can swing. He can swing the $20.
Oh,
hey, you know
man.
what? Maybe he got a birthday card from his mom, and it had $20 in it. Ah, thanks, Mom. A little birthday cash. I got a great idea how you could burn a hole in your pocket.
Someone just suggested you give him the current ones you're wearing, and then if you just buy yourself a new pair.
I am going to buy a new pair soon.
Well, then just give him those.
I'd rather throw them in the garbage.
Oh, no. Why do that? Just give him a pair.
I'd rather, no. It's, you know what it is?
You want to make an example out of it is what it is. Exactly. You would rather throw them out than donate them to Carrington.
It is accepting that behavior, and I won't do it. I'll go buy a new pair of headphones today as soon as I throw these directly into the dumpster outside. It's about setting an example, you know? You got to set an example.
It's another one of those father-son moments, Gold, where
you leave your bike outside your dad.
Yeah. He's trying to teach Carrington a lesson here.
Your parents ever tell you, like, if you leave your bike outside, someone's going to steal it, and then they hit it around the back of the house
of course.
to make you think it was gone. It's one of those. It's one of those. Let's talk a little Chiefs football here before we talk more about Ash and Gelati later on. I saw over the Kansas City Star and the Athletic and a couple of other things. Once again, the annual, I think, and fairly annual conversation surrounding Andy Reid's retirement came up. In reading the article again, I'll say the same thing I said last year, which is the only thing I do know is if you listen to any quote Andy Reid has ever given on the subject, he has never at any stage given any indication that he is about to retire or that he's seeing near the end or he's only a couple years away. He always makes it sound like he's 4 years down the road and he'll talk to you 3 years from now when he's only a year down the road, and it'll probably be 4 more years down the road on that. I don't get any sense that Andy Reid is contemplating retirement at this time, despite the fact that Florida was trying to predict 2 years ago or something insane.
Well, every Super Bowl. I mean, I remember being on Radio Row in Vegas in particular. That was like one of the number one stories. Any hit we did with another station, that one of the first questions they asked is, do you think this is the last one for Andy? And it was all fueled by Florio. And that was in Vegas. Cody, that was 3 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Right? When the Chiefs won in overtime? I think it's been 3 years almost, 2.5 years, whatever we're at now.
Crazy.
Which is crazy to think about. But that's where a lot of that fuel came from.
Yeah.
Look, we all know Andy Reid, of course, is on the back half, the back slope, whatever you want to call it, of his career. That's evident. However, I don't think he thinks that this year or next year is the last year or anything like that at all. We have said this over and over with this conversation that becomes a yearly thing. As long as he is physically able to coach, the guy's going to keep coaching. And as long as the results on the field continue, right? We're having a different conversation if you tell me this team is, this is not happening in my opinion, but if they won 6 games again, okay, they won 6 last year. If they won 6 games again, there will be a real conversation at the end of this year whether or not, hey, is it time? Is the game passed them by? These kind of things would be a real conversation. But if this team gets back to being competitive, playoff team, viewed as one of the better teams, that stuff goes by the wayside. And then as long as he's physically able to do it, he's going to coach. It is so weird how there are other coaches in this league over the years that have been older than him, that have certainly won less games than him, that nobody questions their longevity, but people question Andy's longevity.
Look, in fairness, he is now the oldest coach in the NFL. He wasn't for a number of years because Pete Carroll and some other guys were still around. So he's the oldest coach in the NFL by 5 years. Todd Bowles is somehow 62. The second oldest coach in the NFL. Harbaugh's 62, Sean Payton's 62, and then everyone else is in their mid-50s or earlier. So he's older. He's 5 years older than any active coach in the NFL. But I'd point out that like Bill Belichick didn't even leave the Patriots till like 4 years after this age. Andy is actively. And so when I listen to him talk, if you made me set the over under 3.5, I'd still take the over. Because I think it is simply just one of those, and Twitch pointed it out too. It is simply one of those just barring health. Assuming he is healthy and capable of doing it, I don't think he's anywhere close to doing it. And I mentioned this on the air. I think part of the reason people think he won't be healthy enough to do it is because he's always been a slightly bigger guy. And so, like, I think in people's heads, like, well, he won't be healthy 4 years from now to do it. I think that's unfair to Andy, but I do think that that's why people predict the end sooner. He is 68. I think the end's coming sooner.
Yeah, I don't think he's coaching until he's 75 years old. I'm with you there. But also, I don't think he's got only a year left. I don't think that's the case. To me, right now, the only way it's cut short in the next year or two, Cody, is if the team performance starts to really slide. If they go back-to-back years missing the playoffs, there will be real conversations just whether or not you're heading in the right direction still. But that's a football reason. You're right. The people that think he's going to stop coaching Mike Florio 3 years ago, where people just thought he was just going to quit. Not that they were worried about where his performance was. The guy was in a Super Bowl just 2 years ago.
I think that like part of that is I will always point out Andy Reid is like in love with the game of football, right? Always has been. It is his baby. It is the thing he has cared the most about in his entire life. He has built his entire career around it. I can't imagine a person who has dedicated every single second of their adult and youth life around this sport, getting a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, and then saying, you know what? I think I'm good. I think he wants to ride out 3-4 more years of prime Patrick Mahomes before he's like giving it up. I just can't imagine. What do you do all this for? If then when that guy finally walks through the door, and after all these years, these painstaking years of fighting for a trophy as an NFL head coach, that guy walks through and gets you 3 and 5 years. Now you're going to hang it up? I can't see it. I can't see it. Drew, you're an outsider's perspective. You didn't grow up in Kansas City. You think Andy Reid's close?
I mean, as close as in like within 3 years, yes. I don't think it's close as in like he's going to retire after this year. The weird thing though is like the Eagles got rid of Andy after they had a couple bad seasons, and he obviously had made it to all those NFC title games, made it to a Super Bowl. The fact that Andy's won it as many times as he has here, let's just use in this hypothetical, they go 7-10 and they miss the playoffs again. They aren't getting rid of him, are they? I think the conversation is going to be there, but from the standpoint of as long as Andy's coaching Patrick Mahomes, Cody, I think if it's his choice to leave or not, he's not leaving for another couple of years. But if for whatever reason they don't make the playoffs and they decide to move on, I think Andy would be done because I don't think he would go to start somewhere else at all.
I agree with you, but that's why I said that the conversation about his longevity is just only going to be whether or not if they miss the playoffs again this year, then there's going to be a real conversation about whether or not for football reasons. Mike Florio started all this years ago, not because he thought he couldn't coach or whatever. It was just that he thought he was too old or not healthy or whatever. He's going to retire.
He kept claiming someone was telling him that.
That was the Florio thing. I mean, look, very rarely in sports, whether you're a football player or a football coach or a basketball player, basketball coach, whatever, very rarely do you get to go out on your own terms. So when you have that opportunity to do it, usually take it. Bill Belichick got fired. Essentially,
Bill Belichick couldn't go out on his own terms.
He didn't just say, I'm done with coaching, and that's why he went to North Carolina. He went to North Carolina because he wanted to prove to people he could still coach. And that's very much up in the air at North Carolina right now. Who knows what they're going to be. They open up next Saturday, as we talked about.
I just don't. If they miss, I don't think they would. I actually don't know if the Chiefs. I'm just thinking of this now. I don't think the Chiefs would actually fire him.
No, they would mutually part ways if that day ever came. He has earned that opportunity to exit on his own terms whenever that day is.
Right.
Hopefully, it's very long time from now.
Have a good enough relationship.
He could go 0-17 this year, and I don't think it'd be Andy Reid got fired.
We will never. I feel confident saying this. I think you guys agree. We will never see a headline: Andy Reid fired as the head coach of the Chiefs. We are never going to see that headline.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure. I think they said mutually agreed to part ways for Bill Belichick. I don't even think it was a firing.
But same thing, right? He did a lot for the organization.
Maybe that one was a firing.
I don't remember.
I think we knew what it was, but I think they called it a mutually.
They called it a mutual and amicable parting of ways.
But but behind closed doors, it was a firing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at least let Andy go out like that. But there's no scenario like if they miss the playoffs this year, Andy will, for the first time in a very, very, very long time, be on I would say a hotter seat,
a lukewarm seat, a warm seat.
Yeah, like
again,
he won't be 5,000 to 1 to be the.
I don't
the
think
coach
he's not
fired.
going to be the head coach after this year if they miss it, just because of all that he has done. I don't think.
But there will be
There'll be a fan
very real conversation about whether or not he needs to be stripped of play calling if it was because of the offense, whatever. However, I don't think he would ever coach without being the play caller. So to me, that's where you would get into the stepping away stuff. This is all more football related. As far as everything else, that's still the same Mike Florio crap from 3 years ago. I don't think Andy Reid's hanging it up anytime soon.
Never made that. That never made any sense. He was making it seem like people around the league were all, "Oh, we think Andy's going to retire." Like, by who? Who's saying that? Ghosts? Yeah. You guys got drunk at the bar and you thought? Because, like, other than that, there was
Someone
no,
says if Andy did
retire
even after a Super Bowl win this year or something, would they just promote from within? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I don't think anybody on the staff would be the next head coach.
I don't think you could afford to simply just say, "Well, we got EB as the guy going." You would have to evaluate.
Or Spags.
It'd be a new staff.
Yeah,
I
or
don't think
Spags
so.
too. You'd have to evaluate your options.
I think you would go outside the organization.
Unfortunately, I guess for the Chiefs' sake, if Andy were to step away, unfortunately, it's not like college football where you can just buy out Sean McVay's contract and be like, "Yo, man, come over here and coach Pat for a little bit."
I mean, you can. It just would never happen, right? The Chiefs traded for Dick Vermeil, remember?
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Sean Payton, now that was different.
They could trade for Ben Johnson. I don't know.
Sean Payton left the Saints for a year, then had to get traded to the Broncos. That's how that. So it happens, but those are rare circumstances.
We know before we get to the trash today, we know both the Chiefs and the Royals are getting new stadiums. I saw a headline today and I thought, what? The Raiders, yes, the Raiders who just built a brand new stadium not that long ago over at Allegiant, are requesting over $160 million for a new renovation, making a gateway or a different entrance into the stadium in order to do it. And I thought, I'll tell you right now, and I want the new stadiums where they are. You better not be coming looking for a $200 million handout less than 10 years after you build the building. That's crazy to me. They're asking for like $80 million more in public funds. It's like $75 million out of a fund that exists, admittedly, but they're asking for that money. I feel a touch early.
It feels
to start
very
doing
early.
some new stuff.
I mean, we don't live in Vegas, so I don't know. This feels like this was always part of the Raiders' plan, at least, was to eventually ask for a new plaza area around Allegiant Stadium. Because we've been there. The stadium itself is fine. The area around it, there's nothing next. Like, yes, the strip, but it's not like it's a 2-minute walk.
It's like nestled into a corner of street.
If you look at the aerial shot, you think it literally is like, oh, the strip is right there. No, it's still a hell of a walk to get to the strip. There's nothing right outside the stadium. There used to be a strip club there. It just closed, according to our buddy Matt, who works in Vegas.
Oh, okay. Thanks for the heads up.
We'll see him next
Matt?
week.
Yeah, we will.
Our guy, Matt Peralt. He tweeted about it. That's the reason why I know, I swear. And so that's gone now, I guess. And they have a plaza area they want to build. There is a $75 million fund that was set aside for future renovations of Allegiant. It's just weird that it's happening this early. With new Arrowhead or whatever, with any of these new stadiums, after 20 or 25 years, they all come back and say, hey, we need another $300 million for renovation.
Sure,
that always is going to happen. It's still another part of the ridiculousness of the whole public finance stuff. But 8 years after it's been built or whatever we're at now seems crazy.
Is when it opened.
6 years.
So it opened 6 years ago, and they're like, $160 million, please. And you're like, the hell?
Is it not even for the stadium or just the
$2 billion?
There's no way it's for the actual stadium.
It's just for the like opening gateway.
So it's for like
project.
an entertainment district, not necessarily the stadium.
They're calling them front door upgrades, which includes a pedestrian deck, public plaza, event deck, and transportation improvements. Okay. It's not even like cool stuff. These pedestrian decks, I don't know who these are for. They must be for someone because all these stadiums keep building them, and I'm just like,
well, people want a
you
safe way to walk in.
$100 million to. You should have built that the first time.
The safe way to walk in.
Are you just now learning a highways near here? You just figuring that out? You thought there were going to be people at the stadium? What a wild notion.
No, I'm with you. I think it's ridiculous after 6 years they're asking for the money. My guess, though, is that this was always part of the plan for that stadium. That's all.
It just seems crazy that 6 years after they need $160 million,
Mm-hmm.
75 of which would come from the authority that would created there was a fund that was meant for
it's the
stadium
Las Vegas
improvements
Sports Authority. Yeah.
later, and then the remaining 83 would come from private funding. I will say I don't know how they're going to end up funding that outside of it. I'd just be like, no, we're good. We're going to save that $75 million. We're going to keep it in escrow. We'll fix some stuff later.
My guess is how they get it done.
Why do you need this?
My guess is how they get done in Vegas. The same reason why we talk about even here, but on a bigger scale. It's Las Vegas, entertainment capital of the world. They want all these other events. They're probably acting like as if they need that. That's their excuse, I'm sure.
to compete.
They didn't have the World Cup because the stadium was designed poorly. They can't bring in grass or whatever it was or something, right? Wasn't that the whole deal there in Vegas?
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't change the width of the field enough to have the World Cup. Otherwise, Vegas would have had a World Cup match.
This goes back to the Buffalo thing. It's when you are building something that costs $3 billion, shouldn't you be thinking about every contingent of any possible
They
event
might need some more money, too, to have some
you
renovations.
might want to host?
Soon, the Bills.
No.
6 years later, they're going to be trying to get rid of those obstructed seats.
Exactly.
The worst excuse for that was from the Bills, where they're like, well, not all the seats were intended for football. It's a football stadium.
Yeah, that was stupid.
That's a crazy thing to say.
Some of them were intended only for the concert. What? It's a football stadium first.
That's its primary purpose.
Also, how many concerts are you going to have at that stadium in Buffalo?
And if you're going to a concert, I like to see the whole. I still like to see everything.
Limits. Yeah, I don't know.
It's wild. Makes no sense.
Trash of the day.
All right, we go to Los Angeles for this one. Highway 101, I believe it is. Yeah, driver. You have? All right.
Yeah,
a highway there. Isn't that like Highway 1's the one that has Highway 1's the one you're thinking of, the picturesque.
I've been on the 101 too,
but the one is the picturesque on the coast.
Right.
Anyway, this is 101. After California Highway Patrol officers observed a motorist traveling well below the flow of traffic in the passing lane, causing a backup. The incident occurred. It was a sedan traveling 58 miles an hour in the left lane, causing at least 5 vehicles to pass on the right. The driver was cited for a violation of their California Vehicle Code, which requires slower traffic to yield to the right, right? You're not supposed to be, I think this is like everywhere,
standard.
isn't it, right? You got to move out of the left lane. They gave him a ticket for left lane camping. I'm convinced if anybody on this show was left lane camping, we all know who it would be.
Not me. It better not be me you're talking about.
I think it would be you.
I follow the traffic rules.
Drew doesn't use cruise control at all, but I think you've told us you're using cruise control nonstop.
I am a follower
everywhere.
of traffic rules, so why would that be the one that I broke? If anything, this drive down from St. Joe's is going to send me into psychosis of this. Every single day
Cody, the reason why
coming
we
down
think this
I-29.
is because the way that we're picturing this is this individual had cruise control on, going like 55 and a 70. And they had cruise control on. And you use cruise control more than anybody. You use cruise control going 40.
Nah, yeah, I will use cruise control.
So I think that of all people it fits, that it would make sense you would be the one to use cruise control.
Not to
be locked in.
I'm glad they ticketed this person, though.
Me too. The only thing I will say is, if I'm going, let's say I'm speeding up. We're heading down I-29. I'm trying to get ahead of all these cars in the left lane because the semis are slowing it down, and I got it up to 80.
Yeah.
Let's just say, and there's someone and I'm actively getting ready to pass cars, and there's someone riding your ass. I'm not getting out of the way for you, pal. I'm going 10 miles an hour above the speed limit. I don't have to get out of the way for you. I'm passing in the left lane.
Oh, if you're
I totally agree with that.
If you're actively passing, yes. I thought you were just saying you're going fast enough already. You're not going to get over.
No, I'll just get out of the way.
All right. I
If
passed
I'm not
you yesterday. You were going too slow, man. Get the hell out of the way.
I was going, I think at that time, relatively quick. I'll say this. Drew, I was going above the speed limit.
Well, so was I.
And Gold was still flying by. You were ready to get back.
Sick of driving on I-29.
Ready to get back.
I was sick of driving on I-29. I was driving still safely. I was still safe. Don't make it seem like it wasn't a safe speed. I wasn't going 90 miles an hour. You're making it seem like I was going above the speed limit, but I was still in I would say the very safe range, the normal range of that 10-ish above.
10-ish.
Ish being the operative word, depending.
Might have been 15 over at one point, but yeah.
This is, and maybe if you're I know we have a lot of people who do long haul driving and stuff. Sports radio is really good for that. I need one thing to be explained to me. Is there a reason why it wouldn't be safer or better? This is what happens on the highway coming down. Speed limit 65 miles an hour. The semi-truck who's probably speed restricted is going 60.
Okay.
I then get stuck behind the semi-truck passing the guy going 60. And based on how quickly he passed him, must be going 61 miles an hour.
Took a little
Could
bit.
you not just stay behind that guy long enough for me to get out of your way? And then you can get past him? Or is it, look, there's maybe a bigger point to it that I don't understand. But I feel like you just like at the speed at which you're passing this person, I'm not sure it qualifies as passing. If there was a way, if you could just wait until I got past, that'd be great.
I mean, they want to pass the truck in front of them.
I know.
But no, the worst is when they're both basically going the identical speed, and you're just like, someone figured out, someone decide what we're doing here. Let's go.
I think your text line's wrong from 816. I know Cody's an awful driver, and I've never seen him drive.
I'll say this in Cody's defense.
I'm a very safe driver.
In Cody's defense, we've gone on a road trip together before. But Cody's a good driver. I just think the cruise control on side streets is insane.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a level of that makes it crazy, but that doesn't mean you're a bad driver because of it, though. Yes.
Now, Drew, I think we don't have to revisit the whole conversation.
I'm not a bad driver because I don't think
you're a bad driver, but I think you would drive me crazy on a road trip, especially if we were following you, because you don't keep a constant speed because you're not on cruise control.
I think I do a solid job of keeping this because I
would pass you.
I'm cognizant though. I think of what speed I'm going, where I try to stay in a range of like 5 miles. Like if I'm going, the speed limit's 70. I try to stay within the range of 68 to 75.
Yeah, I think
going there,
and that's cool. But I think the issue would be, I got cruise control set at 73. Let's say you are passing me going 75, then 5 minutes later, because you're not on cruise, you're suddenly going 71, and then I'm passing you. That's a problem. Stick with one damn speed. That's what I'm discussing.
I really hate
but if you're
passing someone and then them passing me and then me passing them. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is the worst.
If I'm going up a hill, you are passing me because I don't have cruise control on, and I'm in I'm not getting down to 5 miles per gallon to haul it up a hill 70. That ain't happening.
No cruise control is wild.
Nope.
All right, up next, guys, let's get to the Cheese Shred half hour. And someone that doesn't have enough exposure on television is apparently getting even more exposure, more than yesterday's update. That's next.
What's up, KC? It's Carter Jensen. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're gonna love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
And Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hi, I'm Jacob, your friend and an actual jeweler craftsman at Shane Company. I'm proud to work for a family business that's been committed to the highest quality standards for nearly 100 years. Your dream engagement ring is designed for quality every step of the way. We set your diamond by hand, not with machines. Prong tips are beautiful and secure, and intricate details are thoughtfully crafted. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend knows true love deserves the highest quality. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Football season is just around the corner, and just like your favorite team, you've got to fuel up to perform. At Break Time, we've got your training camp essentials, ice-cold drinks, protein-packed snacks, and all your game day favorites. Whether you're hitting the field or cheering from the sidelines, teamwork starts with the right fuel.
Let's go! One team, one goal!
Swing by Break Time, your home team for snacks, drinks, and everything in between. Download our mobile app and find a location near you. We're proud to be Missouri made.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Whether I'm setting up the ultimate tailgate or hosting a watch party, game day is all about the Chiefs and keeping it stress-free. That's why I go to Hy-Vee. They make planning a breeze with everything you need in one convenient stop. We're talking about tailgate trays packed with sliders, wings, charcuterie, sushi, appetizers, and those iconic Chiefs-themed cookies. Plus, a massive wine and spirits department to top off your beverage order. Let Hy-Vee handle the work. Just order online for pickup or delivery. It's a total game changer, only at Hy-Vee.
Back to school savings start now at Hy-Vee's 3-day sale. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday with hot deals in every department. Meat, produce, bread, cereal, and snacks. Want an easier way to shop? Order on the Hy-Vee app or at Hy-Vee.com. Choose pickup or delivery and we'll do the shopping for you. Save time, save money. Shop your way during the back to school sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Men, erectile dysfunction can affect much more than just your sex life. It can create stress in relationships, leading to feelings of anxiety or embarrassment, and impact your overall confidence and well-being. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and we specialize in treating men's sexual health issues to help men find solutions that fit their individual needs. ED is a frustrating condition, and many men suffer for years without seeking treatment. But the good news is that if you're like most men, we have the answer. Our licensed medical providers will evaluate your specific medical situation and recommend a plan designed for you. And these advanced medical therapies work, with treatments having success rates of well over 90%, which means you and the one you love can have great sex again without the fear and worry of ED. You can even last up to an hour or more, and you may just find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Major ramifications for the defensive line, including what it now means for R. Mason Thomas, perhaps more Emmanuel Ogbah. We'll get into that in just a bit. A reminder, in 25 minutes, we're handing things off to Vern. Josh Vernier's On Deck show coming up as the Royals get set to wrap up their series against the A's right here on 96.5 The Fan. Before we went to break, we mentioned, we were kind of joking about it because we had an update yesterday on Pat McAfee's going to be part of the Monday Night Football pregame show, and the first Monday Night Football game of the year is Chiefs-Broncos. So McAfee's first pregame on Monday night will be here at Arrowhead in Kansas City. And then right when we were going to break, Andrew Marchand, who covers, I've been kind of on the record with the Allcast that I'm only interested in those when the game sucks. So if it's a good game, if it's the fourth quarter, it's a one-score game, I want the actual play-by-play, old school broadcast. Give me, Aikman and Buck in that scenario, and I'm good. I love the Manning cast, and I think I'll be entertained by McAfee when it's a crappy game. If it's the third quarter and it's a 20-point lead and I'm bored, or it's just an ugly football game, that's the only time I have any interest in any of them. I don't care if it's McAfee, the Mannings. I don't care. It's the Altcast to me are just filler for bad football.
I prefer this to I'm being forced to watch McAfee in a million places. I'm good. Like I've had it. I'm at my fill and have been, I would say 78 shows ago or whatever. At least in an Altcast case, this feels like one of those ones I can't really complain about in the sense that, Gold, I just have to never turn it on. it's not a problem for me, I don't, if I want to watch, if I'm not entertained by the game, I'll just stop watching the game before I go to the McAfee all cast. And so that part of it, at least it's optional, but my God, this is a maximum exposure point. How many more things can he be on? How much more time could be in his schedule?
He's already there, though, right? I mean, I guess he's already there. He's on the pregame show for Monday Night Football, and he's already going to be at some of these games, so they're just going to add it to it. But he's the face of ESPN, and he's making $80 million a year. They're going to work him to death, and that's where it's at. It's not me telling you that I need him to be on more stuff. I just get why ESPN's doing it, and the alt cast doesn't bug me because I truly don't really watch many of them to begin with.
No, that it bothers me less than the one yesterday where he's going to be in the crew where, at halftime, that's a little less easy to just go away from it, or I'm less likely to go away from it. And this is, again, it can be a lot of different things. He obviously is very popular. He has a massive audience. So I understand where I stand in the minority of this. I'm good on all things McAfee for a while. And some of that is absolutely exposure. As in, I've seen far too much of this one person, and I don't need them in everything. This goes back to even people who I think do a good job. Like we talk about Kirk Herbstreit. Kirk has enough jobs. I don't need him on Thursday Night Football. I don't think he does as good of a job there. Maybe I don't need Ryan Seacrest on Wheel of Fortune. Maybe sometimes people just have enough jobs. And I don't need to see him on every single thing I consume. I imagine this is how some people feel about ads that include certain people that seemingly are on everything, right? You're like, boy, Shaq's got a lot of ads.
I just think it's simply that they cut him a check for north of 60,
and they're trying to get the money,
and they're gonna have him be part of every. They paid him that salary for a reason. The same way when Stephen A. Smith got his massive contract, he's on everywhere. Same reaction to that. He's oversaturated as well. This is not nobody. Not everything has to have some deeper meaning to it. Just I think over time, anybody that's saturated as much as they are, like these two individuals, and they both happen to work at ESPN in this case, that's the reaction that you start to get, right?
ESPN likes to get their money's worth. That's
so
the
anyway,
one thing we realize.
That's just the new news there. All right, let's update you on the Chiefs injury front. We mentioned that Ashton Gillotte has a ruptured plantar fascia. When we've been discussing it throughout the show today, we said, hey, what does this mean? We don't know a timeline yet, but this is a significant blow. Maybe it causes R. Mason Thomas to have to play way more than they want early on in the year. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it's not. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider, did have this tweet out. We'll pass it along. He said he's hearing in the Chiefs' initial evaluation, they are optimistic that Ashton Gillotte, who ruptured his plantar fascia, could return in about 3 weeks. If his rehab goes well, Gillotte would have a chance to be available September 14th to play on opening night against the Broncos. Now, that's the reporting from Nate Taylor. He's well connected. I hope that's right. That seems not from him, but from the Chiefs, very optimistic.
Yeah.
So that's great news if that's the case. I hope that's the case. I hope he's ready Monday Night Football. That just seems very optimistic. That's all for a plantar fascia injury. That's all.
If I look at that timeline and I assume that's the most possible optimistic timeline, which Nate Taylor's told us the Chiefs are always going to give you publicly, well, then I feel pretty good to say that he probably should be back by the bye week. So it's not, you and I were talking maybe it'd be the end of October. Maybe we'd be into November. Who knows how long this injury can keep someone out. But if they're saying there's at least today on August 20th the possibility of playing on September 14th, well, then
that's awesome. Yeah.
By the time the bye week hits around in week 6, that means Gilotte's not going to miss an amount of time where the pressure to maybe go sign someone feels a little bit less, or the pressure on the entirety of the season of this is another defensive lineman you need in order to be available is a little bit less. And if we pointed out, other than the Denver Broncos, game 1 at home at Arrowhead, those first few weeks aren't that bad. Colts, Dolphins, I mean, those are winnable, easily winnable games. Should be winnable games.
Let me ask you guys this. In this scenario, let's hope he plays week 1. But let's say they say, hey, one more week, and so he's ready week 2, which is still great. Is R. Mason Thomas getting the most snaps on the edge on that side opposite Karlaftis, or is it Steve Spagnuolo leaning on the veteran and it's Emmanuel Ogbah actually playing more? I want it to be R. Mason Thomas, but we've been around this defense enough to know that they lean on veterans more early on. I think Ogbah will play way more than we think if Gillotte doesn't play week 1.
So it should be not Ogbah. In a weird way, I'd prefer FAU to that. Would I be surprised if Felix Anudike-Uzomah or Ogbah had more snaps? than R. Mason Thomas week 1 or 2? No. No. I've been around Spags. He played Mike Edwards more than he played Jaden Hicks last year in some games. So would I be stunned if it was the veteran? No. The veteran it should be is Felix. And just because...
I'm not sure about that, though. I mean, Ogba or Felix, I'll be honest, I don't know if there's much of a difference there. I mean...
Ogba rated worse than Mike Dana last year.
And Felix has had how many years to show anything?
I know. I mean, he was hurt most of last year, so we didn't get a chance to see him. I feel like there's still a difference in quality there, isn't there?
I don't know if there is.
Fair. Maybe I don't care that much which one it is. The answer is, will a veteran have more snaps than R. Mason Thomas? Even though I would... If you let me choose right now, one of the guys of those three gets 60% of the snaps and the other guys get 40 on the edge. Or 50%. And the other two guys share the 50%. I'd vote for R. Mason Thomas right now. I would let young players take their lumps. But if you're making me guess, I'm assuming it's a veteran.
We're on the same page on what I want to have. Well, I want Gelati to be healthy and play week 1. But if he's not healthy in week 1, no, I want R. Mason Thomas playing as many snaps possible right away and see what the kid's got. But I'm just saying, under Steve Spagnuolo, we have seen they tend to lean more with the veterans. And so my guess is that we would see a lot more Ogba than we necessarily want to see.
Is there a possibility that if they do play R. Mason Thomas for whatever reason and he plays really well, that he's the guy going forward, and when Ashton Gelati comes back, that he's just a fill-in?
He could Wally Pippin immediately. It wouldn't even... If he had a sack in his first game or a sack and 3 pressures or whatever, Drew... he could, it'd be that almost instantaneously, if my guess.
But again, Nate Taylor reporting he's hearing from the Chiefs. They're optimistic. Could return in 3 weeks, Gelati, and has a chance if rehab goes well. There's a lot of if, could in there, right, from the Chiefs' point of view.
That's best case scenario, I guess,
it is absolutely, I think, best case scenario. They're just not ruling him out for week 1 yet, essentially, is what's happening.
Hey, at least
which
3
is great.
weeks is I mean, their initial diagnosis. Now, look, he's got to not have a setback, and he's got to recover well, and he's got to work hard in his rehab. And all that other stuff, certainly. But yeah, I think
the best part about that report is the best part about that report is that even if he's not able to make it by week 1, he's not missing half the season. And you know what I mean? I think we can probably say that, which is a lot better than what maybe the initial reaction was to it. So good stuff there from Nate Taylor.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And hopefully, look, that's the best case news we probably could have gotten on it today.
Now you mentioned something to us. I don't know, maybe on Tuesday's show. I think it was a random question, or Monday. And you were asking how concerned should you be about a meeting you have coming up. And that's today.
Yeah, that is today.
I forgot about
nervous?
it. Well,
I put on a shirt with buttons. Put on pants.
So
I didn't want to show up in shorts and a t-shirt, Drew. You know, I got to look presentable.
We're off the show at noon today, 15 minutes.
Yeah, correct.
And you informed us earlier in the week you have a meeting with the dean of your, I don't know if it's communications school or J school at UMKC.
She's in charge of the communications.
Okay, communications. Okay. And you were maybe a little nervous. We were saying, I think it's about the syllabus being too long. I think it's about you skipping class already in week 1. Do you feel good today? And yes, you are dressed up nicer because of that. Someone texted in and said the morning show was wondering why you and I are both wearing pants today instead of shorts. Honestly, we've been wearing shorts outside nonstop. It's comfortable wearing some. I have some comfortable pants on today. I don't know. Yeah, that's no reason we didn't text each other. And
I think Mac even mentioned that. Or,
they were surprised we were both wearing pants.
Yeah, something about being able to be in the AC and
it's not 100 degrees, you know? I don't know.
If it were going to be 100 degrees outside today, I probably would have still done shorts.
Mm-hmm.
But because it's going to be like in the 80s or whatever.
These are very comfortable. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Am I a little worried about how that might go? I mean, a little. I'll say this. I have been teaching at UMKC now for 3 years?
Is that right?
I started teaching in 24, I think. So the full 24, 25, maybe this is beginning of year 3.
All right.
Something like that at UMKC. I've never once been requested to have a meeting with her.
Yikes.
So
that is...
matter of fact, our interview before she hired me for the job might have been 15 minutes. And then they were like, you're our guy. Now, I had to send over a bunch of stuff before that. But, I mean, it was not... I would say the interview process was relatively, low stakes. Or
do you think she's going to say you can't talk about the class as much on the show?
That'd be a real bummer. I kind of like being able to talk about the teaching. She's going to kill Professor Tapp as the segment?
Mm-hmm.
No more?
We didn't kill that? No, I'm just kidding.
We usually only do it during the school year.
Okay.
Someone says Cody's getting fired today. A week before?
He's not getting fired.
Class starts on Tuesday.
He's not getting fired. I just wonder if she's going to go over some things that she would like you to do this year. Instead.
Some ways to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Put me on a PIP? Am I on a PIP?
Well, the fact that you haven't had a meeting with
performance review right now
in
would be
2 years, I don't. Yeah, it could be performance review. It could also just be a catch up of how things have gone over the last couple of years. Like if you feel like you're changing anything, is there anything new that you're doing that's different than you were originally? Or I don't know.
Yeah. Or it's like, tell me how I can help you be better at what you do.
Which is essentially saying you're not doing a good enough
Please
job.
tell me how I can help. That crap.
She's very nice anytime I've met with her, but I mean, I feel like I should be at least a little concerned.
Do you have? I'm curious.
Nobody likes
Cody,
to meet with the boss.
Yeah.
I don't think you do, but do you have? I can't remember. I've been to your house one time. Do you have an office?
No.
I was gonna say, are you like the other academia professors who have their diplomas just hanging up on the wall when you first walk in?
He doesn't have an office.
So
do you have
don't
office hours anywhere?
Nope. I technically
you have office hours.
I technically am supposed to make office hours available. On my thing, it just says that they're like arrange a time.
Oh, that might be what this meeting's about. Actually, you need to have office hours.
Office hours. I don't have an office.
Yeah, but that,
how am I supposed to have office hours?
No, but in college we had that. Not everybody had an office.
Office hours means like available for email. Like you're literally just sitting at. You're available to chat with, email, answer questions.
All right. Did someone leave a bad review on ratemyprofessor.com for you yet? Is that what happened?
I don't think he's up there yet.
I mean, if somebody did it, I wasn't up there the last time.
I don't know the
we
last time we
looked.
looked.
So maybe somebody finally did it.
About a month or two ago, I thought.
We looked it was a few weeks ago we brought it up, and I still didn't have any ratings. I still don't have any ratings. Rate My Professor says...
When I go to Corsical, your name comes up.
Uh-oh. What's that?
Recent semesters teaching.
What's Corsical?
I don't know. Just you have a profile.
Did you make a profile?
View Cody's 2026 fall classes.
Oh.
Here they are. Comms 363, podcast and audio production. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 o'clock.
How does it know all that stuff?
It was very
I don't
easy
like
to
this
find.
at all.
Very easy
this
to find.
This is way too easy to find.
It took me 2 seconds. Yeah.
No, somebody said that maybe this is about the basketball coaching situation to be an assistant coach. So help me if you walk into this meeting and Mark and
Cody,
so
there's some reviews. I have good news for you.
On Corsical?
I found one review. You're gonna. This is actually good for you.
God.
Unfortunately, it's positive. No, wait. Now this is from 3 years ago. Were you teaching this yet, or is this a prior professor?
I taught at Avila too.
Okay, this says Comms 363 podcast audio production professor review 3 years ago from a student named Peggy. Ring a bell?
This is a different teacher.
All right, because clearly it's a different teacher. What I'm about to read because it's too positive.
I think I would have.
It says
I
remember someone named Peggy.
It says it's so amazing to have an active reporter as a professor. I mean, the professor's name was Peggy. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So it's definitely not you. But it's under the same class, and then it lists a bunch of other professors that teach the same class as you. There's reviews for 2 of the other professors, none for you. I'm sorry.
That's too bad.
So help me,
The
Cody,
prior was
if
that
you
this
walk
class
in-
is composed of spontaneous assignments with unclear requirements. That was a different professor.
Cody, so help me if you walk into this meeting and Mark Turgeon is sitting next to this woman. It is you have to say you have to text us.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to
Someone says maybe they're going to review to lower your voice, disturbing other classes nearby.
Actually, I'm on like a corner.
Nobody else is nearby.
There's my classroom. The one door connected to my classroom is empty. There's nothing in it at all. And then the room connected to that is the women's center on campus.
Your class is
so
also
that's them complaining about it. Other than that, I'm to a hallway.
Your class is also at a time where it's later in the day anyways. There's a lot of, like, I had a couple of evening classes and there was nobody around like
Someone
that.
says Peggy's actually Cody's replacement. I just haven't told you yet.
Yeah. So can we get this a lot? Because can we record this meeting, please, and play it on the air tomorrow? I wish we could. That'd be amazing.
Oh, man.
Cody's off tomorrow. Logan's actually going to be in with me.
Yeah, I'm going to my brother's lake house at the Ozarks.
Yeah. They got a boat? You going on a boat?
They do have a boat.
There you
They have a
go.
nice boat. They bought a new one like a year and a half
There you
ago,
go.
2 years ago. I don't know.
Ozarks. Nice weekend. That'll be good.
So
yeah, Logan's in tomorrow.
You were very happy to be leaving St. Joe then. I mean, you went from St. Joe
half show to the lake.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm the relief when I got back. St. Joe, like the drive, it just makes for longer days. All that other stuff. You're sitting out in the heat. You're like, you just kind of like it kind of wears you down mentally a little bit. And now half show and then the lake, I'll be good.
Vegas next week.
I'll feel refreshed by Monday. I hope. No guarantee, but I'm hoping so. Somebody says maybe UMKC needs a new jingle.
Oh, gosh.
Somebody says they're actually going to buy you the Argentina studio for you to teach your class out of. We'll see. I got offered to be in a commercial for UMKC once, but it was during our show. UMKC has a television ad, and I was offered to be in it.
And you said yes or no?
No, it was during the show.
Oh, during the show.
It was during the show and on very short notice. So, almost like an invitation. You ever get those? You ever get one of those like what I call an invitation, which is essentially they invite you, but based on the timing in which they invite you, the circumstance in which you invite you, you can tell they don't really want you there. Felt like maybe one of those.
Before we get out of here, did you? We were talking about golf before the show.
Yeah.
Of course, the Advent Health Championship's going on this weekend in Kansas City, but the BMW Championship's going on in St. Louis. Do you see who's leading? 2-stroke lead, early going.
Mr. Woodland.
Gary Woodland,
Oh, okay.
local ties, KU grad. Gary Woodland, good dude.
Recovering from brain cancer? Is that what he had?
Yeah, or brain tumor.
Was it brain tumor?
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly what it was.
But
he had brain surgery. That I remember.
brain tumor it was.
Okay.
Just a good dude also. Anyway, he's got a 2-stroke lead at the BMW Championship. Keep
Good
an eye
for
on
him.
that heading into the rest of the weekend.
Obviously very early in the tournament.
Yes.
But still.
He's through 10, 4 under. He's just 2 strokes up on, I think it's Justin Thomas. Yeah.
And you got to remember, this is a pretty good field because it's there's the Tour
it's the
Championship
playoffs,
stuff. It's the playoffs. I mean, this is a good field.
I think the BMW, if I remember, it's top 70 in the world, like top 70 in the world rankings. Or
Is that what it is?
In the FedEx
And it's
Cup
down to
rankings.
the top.
Sorry.
It's down to the top, like what?
It
gets
goes
to the
down to
bottom
it goes
30?
down to the top 30, I think. Yeah,
Next week?
when you go to East Lake, if it's still there for the Tour Championship.
Atlanta.
Someone said, did Cody actually request tomorrow off in case he gets fired from teaching some time to mourn? That'll just change the weekend plans, maybe, you know? Someone says, if I get fired, can I call in? Sure.
Yeah, he will.
They fire me tomorrow, I feel like it'd only be right on this show. If they say no more teaching at UMKC for you.
Someone says they want their money back. It's not been a half hour of Chiefs. Whenever we have a short show like this, the Chiefs Red half hour gets truncated. So
There was quite a bit of Chiefs.
Also, if you're paying for the show, I want to know who you're paying. You're getting ripped off. You shouldn't be paying. You know, it's free to listen. You can turn
I mean,
away
you can pay
anytime.
us and maybe we could talk if you.
Yeah.
But today we're off at noon or now, so the Red half hour was a different version on a normal day. Tomorrow, I promise you at least 20
Regular.
minutes of Chiefs in the Red half hour.
I like that you won't promise the full 30, but 20.
No, yeah. Well, technically, we're cheating.
25.
It's not actually a half hour. Don't tell anybody. It's only 25 minutes technically. Don't tell anybody. All right, Vern's coming up next. Also, Cody, I think, has a bet for Vern during pregame today. Royals and A's right here on 96.5.